So this is my garden, and one of my favorite places to be. The morning glories are starting to close up for the night, and we're pretty close to autumn, so it's not looking quite as lush as it once was. Things are getting to the end of their growing season, but a garden is a good place to learn some life lessons. So we got quite a bountiful harvest when it was in its prime. My sunflowers are droopy. I'll be able to get some seeds from those soon. We still have some green tomatoes on the vine. There's a little orange one peeking through there. Some down here that are getting ready to be picked. That little guy down there. One of the things we had to do this year that I just found out about, it's a very good idea, is when you are wanting to find the culprit of little nasty tomato worms, you should come out at night with a black light, and you can find them very easily. There's a tomato over here. Just lovely. God's wonderful bounty. And you can see how a lot of the garden really has gone to seed and is just tired. I live in Michigan, and so, along about the end of September, you really don't have much green any longer, which is a little sad. But one of the things I wanted to show you is right over here. So I planted some cauliflower, and you can see that it really suffered. And the beautiful green plants looked lovely when we planted them. But we came out one day and the leaves, the whole plant was covered with a green worm. And I tell you what, that thing had destroyed my plants before you know it. And I never did get any cauliflower from this plant. So you could see, we had a garden that was lovely and beautiful, but there were enemies hiding within. And it just puts me in mind of Adam and Eve. They were in the most beautiful garden. They walked daily with God the Father. The garden was beautiful, lush, gorgeous, a paradise for them to live in. But lurking therein was an enemy that wanted to seek and destroy them. And just as a tomato worm can strip a plant in one day, and those worms on the cauliflower stripped my plants in one day, all it took was a moment for mankind to suffer the consequences of sin as it entered the garden. Eve, unaware, walking through the garden, stumbles upon Satan, disguised as a serpent, and therein he tricks her. And we've suffered the consequences of it from that time on. Someone asked me today why God allows sickness in his people. This fella's wife had passed away from dementia, and he couldn't understand why God would allow something. Well, the story of the Garden of Eden is exactly why these things happen. When sin entered the world And Satan then became ruler of this world. Sickness and death and sin has rampaged it. Some of the friends of my son say that humans ruin everything they touch. Well, some humans are very destructive in the things that they do, especially when money is their god. And yes, we don't take good care of our planet, but it all stems from sin, and it all stems from the one who is bent on stealing from us, killing us, and destroying us. Why? Because we were made in God's image. And so my lesson today from the garden to you is just, you never know. You just never know where Satan's going to be lurking. Yes, I can go to a bar and hang out with my friends, but I'm opening the door to sin. I'm opening the door to Satan to enter in. Yes, I could watch that TV show. There's only mild violence and some nudity, but I'm opening the door to other things where Satan can come in and desensitize me to other kinds of sin. So we really have to be careful. I had to be vigilant so that I had a tomato harvest. I had to be vigilant so that my crops would not be totally destroyed by the enemy. Our witness, our lives will suffer if we allow the enemy in to get any kind of a foothold. So yes, bad things happen to good people. And yes, we can find ourselves in a hard time. But we serve a God who is faithful and just. We serve a God full of grace, so that when we do fall, when the enemy does get in and causes havoc in our lives, he saves us. He is quick to save us. When mankind fell and Eve and Adam were kicked out of the garden, he made a way. He made a plan that we would not suffer death for it. Yes, our human bodies do pass away, but we have an eternal paradise awaiting us because of the sacrifice that Jesus made for us. God made a way that even though the enemy thought he could kill and destroy us, Jesus and his death on the cross has made it possible that we can live with him in eternity forever. So take heart, my friend, and know that if you love and serve God, even though we go through hard times, God is right there walking with you in the cool of the garden. He wants to spend time with you there. Oh, be blessed, my friends. Be blessed.